Hi, my name is Quinn, and welcome to QuinTech. I've had a computer since I was about 15. My first one was a Atari 8-bit, the 800 XL, and I loved that machine. And then later on in the 90s, I got an Amiga 500 that a friend gave to me. And it was kind of a cool machine. It had the keyboard taken out and put into like a homemade wooden keyboard box, and with a little wooden box that went over it, so it made it look like a desktop and work like a desktop. And it also came with all the RAM, expansion. I don't remember exactly how many megs. It maybe had 4 megs of RAM, I believe, fast RAM, and of course the 512K chip. And and it had the hard drive controller attached, the 540, I believe it was called. And then later on, I was able to pick up an Amiga 2000, and I still have one of those machines. And here it is now. I am a little upset because it was in a storage unit and it fell over, so it did get a little banged up. You're about to see. And there she is. And look at this. Not good. And she is a little dirty. She's got some case damage right there that I'm not happy about. But what can you do? It happened. There's a little dent at the top here, as you can see. It's not flush. And this side, this whole piece broke off. And luckily the rear seems to be pretty intact. So what I'm going to do here with my first video is I'm going to open up this machine because it does have the battery inside for the real-time clock that a lot of people say you should take out immediately. And I've been watching some videos recently and it made me think about my machine, and I better open this sucker up and figure that out. So I will be doing this teardown in just a moment. Okay, so to open this up, you got 5 screws. Here, here, this one in the center, and then 2 more on this side. So it's pretty simple and install to get the top case off. Alright, so now this top case should come off quite easily. You just pull forward and then lift up. Very simple. And as you can see, this case is quite dented. Well, maybe you can see it in this area here. So I'm going to try to bend that back a little bit, and yeah, it's pretty messed up right there. The other side isn't quite as bad. It's still a little bent. I'm going to try to bend it back eventually. So now you have the machine open. And I've got several upgrade cards in here. Let's see, what do I have? I've got this 030 accelerator card, a GBP, I believe. I'll pull all these out and show them to you in a minute. This was a network card, I believe. Oh no, this was a video card. This GBP Spectrum, I believe. I could be wrong on that one. So I had some upgrades in here. I had the 030 board, which originally came with the 68000. This is the 68030. And then this was like a network card, I guess the original serial and parallel, or a very slow older type, and this speeds it up slightly. And I wish I had an Ethernet. It would make it a lot easier to move things around, but I don't. And then this is this here. I have a flicker fixer that fits down in one of the chips here, and this is just the back panel. So there's that. And of course you got your video, your RGB video, your parallel port, your disk drive port. You got mono video, which is monochrome, as in black and white, and then your left and right audio, and your serial port. So let's continue to take some things out of here. I'm going to start with, I guess, the video, or the serial card. So you take that out, and it came with this little, not all of them have it still intact, but this is like a brace to keep the board, the case tight. So now I can take this little header out for the serial, or the parallel. No, I think that is serial. So this card came with 2 serial ports and 1 parallel port. A little bit faster than what came on board the machine. So that comes out of these called Zorro 2 slots, which, let me give you a top-down view here real quick so you can see what I'm doing here. This is the header. This was the little brace piece. This is the serial and parallel I/O card, and that is the video card, and this is the accelerator card. So I'm going to continue to pull these out. Sorry if this is boring, but I'm excited to open up this machine after so many years. It's probably been, shoot, at least, heck, 10 years, maybe longer, since I even powered this sucker up or even played with it. So this was called the Multi-Face Card 3. That was the serial and parallel I/O. And this is the long board. It actually, there's these little slots to hold it in place at the back of the machine. So this slides down in there to keep it secure. And this is, yes, GBP. And from what I remember, the GBP ES, excuse me, some bright light on here, GBP, and I think it was called the Spectrum version 3.0 video card. So that gives you, instead of 16 colors, you get, I believe, 64,000 colors. Oh, so I'm going to need a bit for this. So I'm going to pause this for 1 second, because these aren't the standard. They would be screws like this, but I didn't have any at the time, so I used some of these little header things here to secure the ports. That's all I had that would fit in there at the time, I guess. I'm going to see if I can track down some more like this, or maybe I'll swap those so it's easier to get to. But I'm going to pause this for a second and then I'll be back. Yeah, I loosened this up with just some pliers. I couldn't find my bit. I think it's down in my car in my other toolbox, but I didn't feel like going down there. So I just loosened these up a little bit with some pliers. And now I can just unscrew them. And this has, it's a combo card, so that means it has a SCSI adapter for SCSI 2, I believe it was, hard drives, CD-ROM, and there are other peripherals I think you can use with that. And I might even be able to eventually get maybe some kind of way to plug a more modern device to this, but for now this is pretty basic stuff. This is the plug for your hard drive light. This is the, I guess I should have left that screw in while I take this off. So this just comes out like that, and take that back off, and I should just be able to pull this out like so. Well, I don't want to damage anything any worse than it already might be, so then you just pull up like this, and it appears this card it's got this, this is to connect external SCSI devices, and it's locked in there, so I guess I have to undo the power supply, which is these 4 screws here. 1, 2. Can't really see that, can you? There we go. So here, 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 and here. Try not to get my arm in the way, like I see in a lot of videos. They're like, well, this is what I'm doing, and then all you can see is their arm. So I'm going to try not to do that. Alright, voila! So I should be able to bend this back a little bit now, get this card out, and, well, sometimes these wires get caught. Be careful. And there she goes. So I believe this has 8 megs of fast RAM built into it, 32 what is it, 32-bit. 2 built in onto the board, right there, and then 3 expansion RAM ports. And you know, I got these jumpers to set the amount of RAM that you have. I need to look into it because I saw a video recently that someone had an 040 card and they were able to jump theirs up to 64 bits of megs of RAM. This only has 8, I believe, maybe 16. I could be, I don't know. It's been a while, so we'll find out eventually. But here's your internal SCSI port, and that thing's broken. Not good. Might be able to glue that back, but I don't know if it's necessary. And then your external. So we're almost at a point where we can see where the battery is. Where is that sucker? It must be, it's underneath this whole thing. So I've already removed the 4 screws in the back, and then you've got 3 more screws in the front, here, here, and here. And you're also going to want to disconnect your power cord, which you just pull this little flap out a little bit, and it releases. And this capacitor has gotten bent right into the way, and I don't want to mess it up. So let me bend this out of the way. Alright. This one a little bit too. Alright, so you just pull back on this. Wow. I don't remember these being that hard, but hey, it's been a while. So take that off. This is your power supply. This is your power supply. Then you got your hard drive. I think that might be a 160 meg hard drive or something of that sort. Quite small by today's standards, for sure. You got your floppy drive, and I don't think this is the original floppy. I think this is like a updated, it can actually do the high density floppies, whereas the one that came with it only does the double density. And then you got the busted up CD drive. Hopefully I can fix that. If not, I might have to get a replacement or just not have a CD drive in here. But anyway, so these 3 screws, this one, this one, and this one. And then you also have your floppy connector right there, which goes up through here and up to the floppy. So it's good to go ahead and disconnect that. First. And then this whole tray should just come straight up. Ta-da! And it just has these little grooves that sit down in here. They just sit on here, and then in the front, that just kind of sits in that little spot. The front, it just kind of sits there and there and there, and the back sits on there, and here's where the screws go in. So that's your entire assembly. You've got the floppy, hard drive, power supply, and CD-ROM. So, this machine, like I say, I did have quite a few upgrades in it. This is what they call a flicker fixer. And it gives me a 9-pin VGA out. So I don't have to have an RGB monitor, which I no longer have. I might want to get one again later if I can afford it or find one for a reasonable price. And then this was also a chip RAM upgrade. I believe this brought it up to 2 megs of chip, but it might be 1 meg. I can't remember exactly. And then it's got this little jumper wire where is it? This little jumper wire that goes around and clips on to one of the legs of this chip. And I'll have to do a little more research on what every single chip is, but here is the culprit. And yes, we do have a little bit of battery leakage. I do not like that, so I am going to continue to disassemble this, pull the card out, and at least snap that sucker off for now. And that'll probably be the end of my first video. But I hope you're enjoying this. I am. I love this tech stuff, putting together. Oh, and I also have it came with I believe this one had the 2.0 ROM, and this was the Kickstart 4.0, 40.68, 3.1 ROM, 97 Amiga International. So that was probably one of the last things I got for this system. Sorry, this tripod thing's a little fiddly. Excuse me. Oh, and then so you've got your floppy light, or maybe that's the power. That's the power. Yeah, the floppy has its own light. Let me take this little thing out of here. It hooks up to the flicker fixer. And this actually is flicker fixer. You pass through the video card passes through this, or the other way around somehow or another. So you get both the flicker fixer and the video board on the same display. So, remove that. And there are just a few screws around here. You've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and as you can see, this is a Rev 6.2. I think this is a later revision. 7, 8, and I think that's it. I might have to disconnect this here as well to get the main board out, but I hope I don't. But if I do, I will. So I'm going to take those screws out so I can access this battery and snip that son of a gun off. That's everything was pretty basic equipment. Just a phone and a tripod thing. Oh, and one thing I did forget to show earlier was this is your keyboard port and your mouse and joystick ports here. 9-pin standard joystick port. Can actually hold you can plug a 3-button Sega Genesis controller in there and use up to 2 buttons. And then your standard 5-pin DIN, I believe it's called, for the keyboard. So I've got 3 more screws of the main board screws, and I may have to unscrew a couple more that plug down into these connectors. So we'll find out here in a second. So I'm almost have all the screws out. Last one here. And possibly 2 more. I can't remember, it's been so long. let's see if this has come loose. No, it still feels pretty secured, so I think I'm going to have to take these other two screws out that screw down over these connectors. It's been a while. Heck, it was probably in 98 or 99 the last time I had this thing completely apart like this, and then I booted it up in like 2004 or 5 and played with it for a little bit. I didn't know about this possible battery leakage issue at the time, so I should have known since I was a avid Amiga user back in the day, but well, hindsight is 20/20, right? Those are a little bit longer. And let's see now. Is this going to... What is holding this? Is there another screw I'm not seeing? Oh, there's one more screw here in the center. I wonder if there's one hidden by one of these little boards, because they plug into where some chips go. It's this one. I wonder, I may not have had... No, I think I did have to unscrew those. That. So let's see. Is this going to come out? I hope so. Oh, yes. And it should lift right out. Is one of these hold it? Mount it to something else? No, doesn't appear to be. The case. Ah, there we go. Excellent. And there's the case. I'm not a NASCAR fan. I just have that. Alright, so here's our board completely out. We've got these two, the clicker fixer and the mega chip, chip RAM upgrade. And it does have this metal shielding that goes around and a protective plastic, so that's still intact. But now that we're here, I guess I better take this off so I can get to this battery. I think I can get to it from the side. So there's the battery. And just got my snips. Maybe I'll do an overhead shot here as I'm doing this. Just got where is it? You've got your one leg here. And it usually has two legs on the back. So just gonna snip those. And hope there's not too much damage underneath there. Now I'm going to have to get this this metal shielding off, which looks like it entails unscrewing these. Let me see. Yeah, that feels pretty solid. So I'm going to have to get my other tool for this. I don't want to use pliers again. But I think this will be the end of my first video. But I hope you enjoyed it. So again, my Amiga 2000 with 5 Zorro slots, 2 16-bit ISA slots, or ISA, 2 8-bit ISA slots. You could actually put a 286 and I think even a 386 bridge board, or some, I forget what they called it, some kind of a, anyway, you could use your Amiga to run 386, or at least 286. I could be wrong on 386. Then you got your, this is the accelerator slot. This is your 68,000 chip. And this is the mega chip. Gives you more chip RAM. And this is the ICD flicker fixer card that you have to plug your, I believe it's the Denise. I could be wrong. This might be the Denise, and this is the Agnes. I don't know. I'll have to look it up. But this plugs into the socket that would normally be plugged into, and then it passes through here. And interesting, it has an AT&T chip on it. Who knew? Well, I think that's going to about wrap it up for tonight's program, but I hope you enjoy it, and I've enjoyed myself, and I hope this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship. Alright, you have a good night. Take care.